might read it in geography. You have read it, na? PNS waves, you have read it, right? Okay, so this is how a wave should usually move. Okay? But the problem with white light of sun is that it will not move like this. In a discipline, like a disciplined child, it will not move like this. Okay, it will move like this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this. Okay, in all directions, it is moving from up and down, up and down. Okay, so because of this, there is too much amount of reflection. Okay, we need to cancel out the reflection part, so we will be putting up a polarimetry module, and all the light will be allowed to pass through it, and what comes out will be looking like this. Okay, so this gives us a very clear image of sun, and that is again making this payload very important, because this payload will give us an input of how sun will look like. Okay, so polarimetry module is responsible for polarizing sun rays, and by polarizing sun rays we are filtering out the noise, okay, and taking out just one beam for study. Okay? And understanding that beam and its IR components, UV, infrared components, ultraviolet components, we will be understanding about the surface of sun. Okay? So that is why this module is important, payload is important. Understood? Did you guys understand? Okay? So our topic of discussion today is this. Okay? G20 presidency, which has not happened till now. 9th and 10th of September is the due date. 9th and 10th of September in Delhi, G20 presidency will be occurring. Okay, India is pushing forward for African Union's membership in G20. Okay, so more or less we will be reading everything about Africa, about Nigerian coup, about France withdrawal, Operation Birhane, about African Union, about G20 and Africa relations, and everything related to Africa we'll be reading here. Okay. Then we will be reading about marine heat waves, okay, because one news item emerged that Panama Canal is drying up. Okay? So we will be reading water bodies associated problems of global warming and all the regions wherein this problem is occurring. Okay? Under the heading of marine heat waves. Then we will be reading about NCERT's National Curriculum Framework. Okay? Have you heard that the textbooks of NCERTs are about to change? Okay, on the basis of national education policy. Okay, then we will be first reading about BRICS plus and then India-Greece relationship. Okay, India-Greece relationship we'll be reading because while coming back from South Africa, BRICS meet, Prime Minister has visited Greece. Okay. But this is something which has happened most recently, that's addition of 6 new countries to BRICS. This formalization will occur from 1st January 2024, but the countries, the documents have been signed for their membership now. Okay? So full-time membership of 6 countries has increased. Okay, so let us begin with the first topic, that is BRICS G20 membership and African Union. Okay, any confusion? Because you're looking confused, you can ask. Nothing? Okay. Okay, so G20 presidency is in news because we have upcoming G20 meet due on 8th and 9th of September. Okay, and India has sought for the full membership of African Union. Okay, African Union is a grouping of 55 nations. Okay, it's a huge grouping, and India is seeking full-time membership for all the African member countries, African Union member countries, to become member to G20. Okay. It is also in news because Business 20, B20, is basically the grouping, the economic grouping of G20. Okay? Now, this economic grouping has joined with the African economic integration. We have a new council which is established by the name B20 Action Council African Economic Integration. So, B20 is right now working with African Union to, they have established a new grouping. Okay? And this is the economic grouping. Okay? So, by this agreement, we have already economically integrated African Union. Okay? Whether it completely happens, we will see on 8th and 9th of September. But as of now, economic integration has already occurred, because Business 20 is the economic grouping of G20 who has already signed up agreement with Action Council African Economic Development Integration. Okay? Okay, so this B20 along with African economic integration has given 5 areas to work upon. Okay, these are the 5 areas wherein certain tasks have to be completed such that we are able to uplift Africa for an economic integration to the world. Okay, so the 5 areas of working includes health and education. Okay, this is mostly social sites only. Okay, health and education, agriculture and food system which will ensure food security in the region. Okay, we know that Africa is suffering from malnutrition. Okay, so agriculture and food systems, manufacturing sector, trade integration and connectivity will be the 5 focus areas of B20. Okay, B20 working along with African economic integration. Okay, now health and education may they have asked for investment, annual investment of $26 billion per annum. This must be injected in the health sector and in the education sector to improve Africa's this part. Okay, the society part. Okay, plus it is saying that if we invest this $26 billion, there will be a 14% improvement in men's output and 16% improvement in women's output contribution to economy. That will be 14% by men, 16% by women if we are investing this much. Okay, plus in health and education it is also asking the countries for frugal innovation. What is frugal innovation? India was criticized for frugal innovation by Mars mission also, under Mars mission also. हाँ, लो बजट नहीं, नहीं फ्रूगल मतलब सम, हाँ नहीं, not कंजूसी, no misery, नहीं miser, no. Frugal innovation is something which is out of the box thinking and which is very local and very cheap. Getting my point? Matlab, it is not something very scientific idea, not very bright minds. Jugaad is the exact term. Okay, for frugal innovation. So they are asking for frugal innovation in health and education sector. Okay, it should not be anything very mind blowing. You need to work upon, because the condition right now is extremely poor. Any small investment in Africa in health and education sector will uplift the condition there. Okay, so they are asking also for frugal innovative solutions, plus they are asking private sector to get involved here. Okay, private, you know any private sector from India working in Africa? Reliance, Adani, they are all working in Africa. Okay, so they are currently also asking private sector's investment plus pooling of resources. Pooling of resources in terms of, let's say, education. You try to open up an educational institute in Africa, okay, which India has already promised to do, not done till now. Okay, so basically they are asking for pooling up of resources. You send manpower for training. Let's say you send doctors for training, or you send medical professionals for teaching the doctors there. Okay, so ultimately you try to work upon the health and education sector of Africa. Okay, this is the first demand coming from B20. The second demand is agriculture and food systems. It is saying that 70% of employment of Africa is done by agriculture only. Okay, they are heavily dependent right now on agriculture systems. So if we are investing on agriculture and food system, we are generating the employment part also, working upon the employment part also. Plus financial gaps in subsistence farming. So if currently the condition in Africa is subsistence farming. Whatever they are generating, they are consuming it at the local level. Okay, they are not producing extra for export or buying or selling in their own market. Whatever they are producing, they are consuming it. So it is more like a barter system. Okay, so they need to come out of the subsistence economy, and for that we need financial gaps to be filled. Okay, whatever that, okay, for example, in India also we have this problem. We had this problem, now so we do not have, but in India the agriculture was primarily subsistent. At least during the colonial period, we were totally under the subsistence form of farming only. If you get to talk to any of your grandparents, they will be buying and selling things in terms of, let's say, if it's a cotton growing area, they will be giving cotton and getting maize. Or you know that, right? If you talk to your grandparents, you will get to know that initially we were also under the barter system only, because we were under subsistence farming. We were not having enough surplus production for buying and selling it in market, so we do not need currency in that sense. Okay, but here they are saying that this is the condition in Africa, what we had in India. You try to resolve this by funding the agriculture part. ठीक है. Next is manufacturing sector. In terms of electricity and MSME, they require investment right now. ठीक है. And in terms of trade integration, they already have a free trade agreement by the name CFTA, African Comprehensive Free Trade Agreement. Okay. They already have a free trade agreement. They are asking it to get it integrated to rest of the world. Okay. We have, in terms of at least idea, we have RCEP of ASEAN and all its FTAs. We have RCEP, or we have FTA signed between India, Sri Lanka, or bilateral to FTA we do have, right? So they are asking this to be integrated with the world economy. Okay? And last is the connectivity in terms of digital as well as physical connectivity. These are the demands which has been made by the B20 African integration, economic integration. Okay? Now, here we will be studying little in detail about Africa. There are so many problems there, but the first problem itself is it is rich in minerals. Okay? Minerals may, you can see this entire zone. This entire zone is rich in either oil or natural gas. Okay? This is rich in oil and natural gas. These, Mali, Central African Republic, Angola, Zambia, Namibia, these are all, Botswana, they're all gold rich regions. Okay? South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, these are diamond rich regions. So in terms of mineral, it is very rich, very extremely rich. Niger, this is uranium. 7% of your world's uranium is located here. Okay? So first of all, they are very rich in terms of minerals, and the problem is political instability. This combination is a very big problem. Okay? The same problem was there with Iran also, Iraq also. Why Iraq faced, US started saying that you need democracy because basically you have oil, and they have political instability. So it is a zone of nurturing for West, right? So similarly, Africa is also facing problem, first and foremost because it is rich in mineral, and second because of the political instability there. Okay? Now the potential of Africa is, it is in terms of world's mineral, it is almost 30%. Okay? Oil reserves is almost 12%, natural gas is 8%, plus they have a huge population. So they are the demography of future. The entire future, world's future is dependent upon the youth of Africa. Okay? Because they in terms of population, they have not controlled. The problem we know currently persisting with China or Japan or even West. Okay? This problem is not persistent with Africa right now. Okay? So they have a source of cheap labor plus upcoming global market, because this is the developing zone, or at least LDCs, least developed countries. Almost 37 countries of Africa are coming under the least developed countries only. Okay? So it is an upcoming global market plus a source of cheap labor. Why now Africa is emerging? It is coming into the eyes of all the continents, all countries of West also, of China also, of Russia also. They are all looking at this because of these two conditions primarily. Okay? Because it is a cheap source of cheap labor plus a very rich market, plus rich in minerals, any kind of minerals. Okay? Okay. Okay, so presently we are focusing on in G20 membership. India is focusing on Africa's participation. It shows our commitment towards Africa. Okay, although in IR you would have heard that till now we have not too much focused on Africa. Even if we have made statement, we have not done anything to implement the statements. For example, we promised to open up an IIT there. Not done till now. Reiterated under education policy. Now let's see what happens. Okay, but we promised them that ITEC. ITEC is the international agenda of India, that I will be taking youth from all these countries, training them, educating them, and then sending them back. Or I'll be opening up an educational institute in your center itself. Under ITEC program, we are calling the youth from various countries, training and educating them and sending them back. Okay? ITEC was an initiated project in Africa also, but we do not have too many African nationals coming to India, okay, for education. So presently, as of now, this request that India is making, you call up African Union to become member of G20, it is showing our reiteration to the fact that we are still giving importance to Africa. Okay? The condition right now of G20 is it is almost 85% of the world's GDP, a majority, huge majority. So if G20 says something related to, let's say, climate or global finance or climate financing or any thing for that matter, that means 85% of the economies are agreeing to this, right? Plus, in terms of trade, it is 75% and 65% of the population, but the more than 50% of the world's population is agreeing to that fact, right? Under the G20 presidency, India's focus areas were SDGs. It was also how to accomplish, how to meet the target of SDGs faster. Plus, it was also food security. Okay, it was also climate finance and digital transformation. These four were the focus areas of India's G20 presidency. Okay. The same will continue for 8th and 9th of September's meet also. Okay. Let's see what developments are there. Yeah, can you tell me the target year of SDG? Starting from? Correct. 15 to 30 is the target year of SDGs. Okay. Food security is right now gaining importance because of this climate change itself, because of the changing climate. Plus Russia-Ukraine war also. Plus Russia-Ukraine war, which has called the global inflation of cereals or even vegetables also. Okay. So, talking about the present prevailing condition of Africa, the present condition they are facing the problems of hunger, of insurgency, of AIDS also. Maximum number of AIDS population is living in Africa only. So, they have problem in terms of society also, in terms of polity also, and in terms of health also. Plus, education level is also very poor. Okay? So in terms of hunger situation, the worst affected is Somalia. Okay? This deep red is very severe. This is Somalia. Okay? I said 33 out of 46 least developed countries of the world are residing in Africa. Correct. In hunger, Somalia is the worst affected. Okay? And contributes to less than 3% of the global manufacturing. Despite of all the potential, all the minerals lying there, it is not able to increase its manufacturing output. Okay? The reason is again the same: poor education, poor health, okay, poor investment from any other country, lack of establishment of manufacturing industries. They have minerals, but they do not know to process it. So they will ask foreign countries to come and establish their industries. India did not take advantage of this situation, but China did. Still. Algeria, this is Algeria. It is one of the OPEC countries. Algeria is one of the oil-rich countries, but still suffering from problems. Okay? It was the problem is more rooted towards political instability and poor social indicators. Okay? This is Africa to grow. Correct. At least West does not want. That is correct. West does not want political stability right now. We will see that. India is talking about membership of African Union to G20. Right. There are some 6 to 7 countries which are very rich who do not want African Union to become members or African Union to become member to G20. Okay. The reason also, the claims that they are saying is also very vague, but ultimately it is the same thing. They do not want that country to develop because ultimately if they develop, they will lose the access to that. For example, why US was trying to access Iraq or try to remove Saddam Hussein? Oil reserves, right? So similarly, China is, that's what I was saying, India did not take advantage of this situation. At least in terms of international image, what we have is wherever we will go, we will undertake development. We will carry out development in that area. Even with that promise, we did not enter Africa, but China did. Okay, and China is gaining immense benefit out of these minerals. This is the current condition of Africa in terms of terrorist organization and insurgency. If you see, most of the West African countries are having this problem. The problem is persistent in Nigeria, in Mali and Burkina Faso. We will not be reading about the terrorist organizations because it is not important. Okay? But the countries which are getting affected out of it is inclusive of Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Somalia, Kenya. So all these countries are facing some or the other problem from Islamic terrorist organizations, or it can be insurgency, it can be terrorism, any of them, but some or the other problem is definitely prevailing in western part of Africa. Okay. So this is the second problem. Apart from hunger, this is the second problem. Okay. So because of all this, the prevailing conditions in Mali, Burkina Faso and all that, France had an operation which started in 2014. This operation was actually started in 2013 itself, okay? But in 2014, it was renamed to Operation Birhane. From 2014, we have this name. Before that, we had some other name, but ultimately, it was to control terrorism and insurgency in the entire Sahel region. SAHEL. You know the region, Sahel region? Can you tell me? Done with geography? Not done. Okay. 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 What subjects you have covered till now? Done for you guys. No. Have you covered Sahel region, desert, yeah, world climate, biomes, as in forest, tropical forest? Not done. Okay. Okay. Anyone else can explain Sahel region? Huh? Only Indian geography is done. Oh, okay. Can someone explain what is Sahel region? SAHEL. I just want to know how many of you know. So what is Sahara? Correct. You see, this is the map of Africa, right? This is Sahara, we know, right? Anything just north to this and just south to this will be coming under the Sahel region. Sahara is the desert. Sahel is about to become a desert. Okay? Sahel is something which is lying exactly between the tropical rainforest. This is where the equator is passing through. So this is this region we are expecting to be completely green, right? Equator it is completely green because it has immense amount of rainfall, right? So because of abundance of water, that region is completely green. So the transition between tropical rainforest and desert, that region is the Sahel region. Okay? Sahel is a transition between Sahara and tropical rainforest of Africa. Okay? So Sahel region entirely is facing this problem. All the Sahel region, these are all coming under the Sahel region only. They are all facing the problem of insurgency. Okay? So we were talking about Operation Birhane. So basically, all these countries were part of French. Okay, French. They were all French colonies. Okay, it includes Burkina Faso, it includes Mali, it includes French Guiana, it includes Guyana, Tunisia, Algeria, all that. Okay? So majority of the countries were French colonies. So it was the responsibility, after giving them independence also, it was the responsibility of France to ensure that there is peace here. Okay? But there were some problems because of which the prevailing peace could not prevail in certain countries. Okay? All those countries are right now facing the problem of insurgency. And France finally came up with this Operation Birhane, I said, was in 2014. Okay? The ideas were two. They were having two targets. The first one is to counter the insurgency in Mali. Okay? What is the difference between insurgency and terrorism? It is a civil war. Insurgency is a civil, but internal disturbance, Internal disturbance. Terrorism is usually funded from outside. Usually interference is coming from outside, but in case of insurgency, it is the internal disturbance only. Okay? Insurgency can be funded from outside, but the people who are insurgents are usually resident of that country. Okay? So basically, France was having two targets. First one was to counter the Mali insurgency, and the second one was counter-terrorism operations in entire West Africa. You saw that there are problems in Algeria also, right? So almost entire western part of Africa were facing problems in 2014, because of which France started this initiative. Okay, now very recently, I think last year December or November itself, they have withdrawn. Finally, France has withdrawn all the troops back, okay, and ended the Operation Burkhane. Now we have started analyzing is it because of withdrawal of France we are facing all kinds of insurgency? Because post 2020 we are witnessing too much amount of insurgency in western part of Africa. Okay, so analysis of the operation says that first, there is amongst public, there is now empathy, more sympathy towards the military grouping itself. Okay, now because people have started supporting the military group, it is easy to carry out the military coup. Okay, for example, why we are not able to tackle with the problem of Naxalism in certain areas? Local support, right? Local support. So this is what is happening here also. Now, right now they are getting local support. So it is easy for them to carry out the military coup. Okay. Secondly, there is emergence of new groups. Instead of, so if we are trying to analyze, did Operation Burkhane come out well? Was it able to fulfill its target or not? The second reason we can say it did not fulfill its target is because we have now new groups which are emerging. Okay? And the third reason why we are calling it as a failure is there are large scale humanitarian crisis which has occurred now. Almost 4,500 people have died in this, under this operation. Civilians, I'm saying, and that is a quoted number, government number. Okay, so the real number can be way higher than this. Okay, so there has been large scale humanitarian crisis. Because of all these three, we are calling Operation Burkhane right now as a failure. Okay. Why did France pull out is, see, this is like whether chicken came first or egg came first. Now we are saying ki because of coup, France has withdrawn, and because of France withdrawal, Nigeria faced this coup. Very recently, Niger we had coup. So this is cyclic. This has become cyclic. Okay? So there were a series of coups in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, because of which France has withdrawn its forces. Plus, it also knows that there was lack of success in the operation. We have emergence of new forces. There was anti-French sentiment rising because pro-military sentiments started growing up, right? So anti-French sentiments also asked France to pull back from Africa, and there was involvement of this. There, have you heard this name? Correct. See, correct. Russians hired. So basically, this grouping is a Russian grouping itself. It is rooted from Russia itself. Okay, we call this as a friend turned foe. He was a friend. The owner of this group was a friend of Putin earlier. He has become an enemy. And for a certain period of time, very short, not even a day, 24 hours, that decision changed. Initially, he declared a coup against Russia. Okay, but in less than 24 hours, the decision changed, and it has now started influencing back in Africa itself. So it was Wagner Group which was acting in Africa against the anti-West sentiments, which has ultimately asked France to pull out from all the countries in that region, Sahel region. Okay. Now we'll be discussing about coup in Africa, especially the Niger one. This is the last which has occurred in the series, and this is the seventh coup since 2020. This is the seventh coup. So consecutively, what is a coup? Correct. Overturning of government. Okay, government is removed. Military will we call this as military coup. But that means military is taking up that position. Otherwise, a general term coup it is overturning of government. It can be opposition party also taking up that place. Okay? So Niger seventh coup has occurred. It is basically an agrarian economy, and what happened was in past 10 years, starting 2010, there was political stability here. Okay. In 2020, when there is maximum 2 terms for which the president can be elected there. Okay. The president had finished his 2 terms and he was ready to step down. So the vice president agreed that, okay, I will take up the position. By the time he could take up the position, military had undertaken the coup. Okay? So there was 10 years of political stability, which is a major achievement in West Africa. This did not happen in any of the West African countries. 10 years of consecutive government without coup did not happen in any of the West African countries. But it did happen in Niger. Okay? Overall, Africa mein we had coup in Niger, then in Mali mein we had consecutively second and third coup. The fourth coup occurred in Chad. Okay, fifth one again in Guinea, sixth one in Sudan, seventh one in finally Burkina Faso. Okay. Overall reason for the coup which is occurring is most importantly corruption and weak African government, weak political parties itself. Okay. Okay. So see, till here, what kind of questions you can expect is definitely not with respect to operation. Maximum in prelims they can ask you what is Operation Burkina. That's it. Okay. In mains they will not be asking any question from Operation Burkina. But why did we read is because there are too many changes which are occurring right now. Too many, excessively. Suddenly things have started changing. For example, India has always been in good support of Russia. Okay, now our alignment from Russia is changing. We are shifting towards America. We did it in last class current affairs, right? Chandrayaan 3 mein, okay, this is considered as competition between India and Russia. Okay, now things are also changing in Central Asia. Armenia mein, Azerbaijan mein, we have good relations with Armenia. Okay, we are selling arms to Armenia. Azerbaijan is not liking this. Okay, now Turkey, Azerbaijan and Pakistan are forming one big alliance. Okay, we discussed this topic with related to Operation Burkina or with respect to coup is because this story might turn up in any of the sequence of events which are occurring right now. Okay, so they can Operation Burkina can become a factor to any of the changes in political alliance. Okay, so you should be understanding why what happened here, the background of the event. That is why we discussed here. From here, we can expect a direct question in mains. Okay? What will India gain out of a membership of African Union or whatever? That's what. Did you understand why did we study till now? We were studying this so that future stories you can build on your own related to IR. Okay? Now, from here, you can get questions. The first thing, this is again important for prelims also, important for mains also. Okay? African Union is a grouping of 55 member states. They have their own central bank, own code of justice. Okay? And we discussed about this, right? They have their own free trade agreement also. What is a free trade agreement? Low or no tariff. Low or no tariff between the member countries of FTA. Okay? Amongst the diplomatic achievement of African Union is that they have opened up a permanent mission by the name African Union itself. Usually, we open up a mission in the country's name. India's High Commission, France High Commission. Okay, they have opened up a High Commission, permanent mission in Beijing by the name African Union as a united country. Okay, they already have a free trade agreement. That means they are working towards a customs union. The integration, the next stage of economic integration they are shifting to. Okay? Plus, they have also, this is a major remarkable achievement not done by a continent in total, is that they have come up with a decade of women's financial and economic inclusion. They have started giving, opening up of bank accounts freely and openly to women. Okay? So, this has not been done by a continent altogether. This is a continent which is right now moving together. Yeah, it's a major step in women empowerment done by a continent. Okay, you guys know about the paper partition of Africa? No, nobody? Okay, you have seen the map of Africa. The countries are divided on straight lines. Any idea why? Huh? Exactly, and that is known as the paper partition because Africa was not partitioned on ground. It was done on paper in Europe. The officers, the bureaucrats, they simply crumbled a piece of paper, shifted it, folded the piece of paper, and the manner in which the boundaries were drawn, Africa is right now divided on that basis itself. Obviously, they will be having ethnic crisis because some tribes are living in the other side of the country, the others are living on the other side of the country. So, paper partition, they say, is one of the root cause for ethnic crisis in Africa. ठीक है, ethnic crisis will automatically lead to political crisis. So the problem is also related to history. ठीक है, plus it is also related, it is always related to economics. Any international crisis is always related to economics. So here we know that in terms of minerals, okay, we discussed about Niger having 7th largest reserves of uranium, right? It is also American and French military base there. Okay, so it is very important for Niger's political stability because it will affect US or it will affect France. Okay, because they have their military base there. Now, what are we expecting gains out of this membership? If we allow African Union to become the member to G20, what will the countries get? Okay? The first benefit is G20 will now become more representative because 55 countries we will be including in total, right? So it will become more representative. It will become obviously more inclusive. Will have a greater voice. Right now, 65% of the population is part of G20. That time it can touch up to 80%. Okay? So it will become more inclusive, more representative, and more influential. Plus, climate change. See, all the countries of Africa are very much prone to, vulnerable to changing climate. Okay? So if we are taking any decision on climate change, we obviously want their voices also to come up, right? So climate change related decisions can be affected if we have the membership of Africa. Okay? Usually we are expecting it in favor of developing countries or in favor of LDCs, right? So their membership is indirectly going to affect India. Okay? Plus, global supply chain. You know in any statement made by the Prime Minister very recently related to global supply chain? Any statement made by Prime Minister on rare earth minerals? No? See, what are rare earth minerals at the first place? Yes, actually, that's correct. Correct. The last part of periodic table. All that is coming under the last 5 to 10 minerals are coming under rare earth minerals. See, heavy atomic number. Yes, atomic number, obviously periodic, so logical also. This is also related to scientists' names. Okay, so basically, rare earth minerals are those minerals in terms of science. Periodic table, you chemistry, kuch yaad hai? Haheli wave, okay, so there is a periodic table in which we have classified all the elements. Okay, so the last part of periodic table consists of rare earth minerals. Rare earth minerals are very important, extremely important for semiconductor-based industries. Okay, for all the electronic items, for all the artificial intelligence, or for all the semiconductor base related items ke liye we require rare earth minerals, and it is heavily located in either China or Taiwan or all such region. Okay? So so global supply chain. So Prime Minister recently made a statement ki countries should not, there will be an emergence of neo-colonialism if certain countries are beholder of rare earth mineral and you are not ready to share, then we might shift towards neo-colonialism, was the statement made by him. So he was basically talking about the global supply chain. You need to neutralize, you need to smoothen the global supply chain. There is a demand, there is a supply. You need to cater to this. Okay, suddenly there should not be excessive of supply. Matlab, some countries should not be beholder of all the minerals, not only rare earth mineral, all minerals we are talking about. And some countries are facing crisis. This should not happen. Okay? So if we are including African Union as a membership to G20, we will be catering to the global supply chain also, because this region requires, this will be the demand creator market, right? Plus resource utilization, obviously better use resource utilization, because we know that Africa is rich in minerals, right? So we will be able to, countries will be able to extract and utilize the resource more efficiently. And the demographic dividend, which is a major advantage of Africa. Okay? So these will be the major gains if we give membership of membership of G20 to African Union. Okay. Now there are certain countries which are objecting this. Okay. Majorly these are rich countries only. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Mexico, Argentina, Canada, Australia. They are saying that there is a purest agenda. Okay. These countries who are members to G20 are right now purely in one category. We are putting them in one category. These are the 20 countries. if we allow the expansion of 55 countries here, then we will not be, then we might be violating with the principle on which we created this group. Okay? Then certain countries from East and West Asia and Latam is Latin America. Okay? These countries will also start seeking membership to G20. That we do not want. Okay? Basically, that's what this is lame excuse. You do not want Africa to develop. That's why you are talking about the purest agenda, or you are objecting. What is the problem? If it is G20, why not G77? And that too, they are not ready. They are saying it's okay, we will not be renaming it to G77, but we want the countries who are supporting, they are saying let these 55 members enter into the grouping. Okay? You do not rename it. There can be such kind of idea, right? Huh? That is what, there is no problem. They are saying, these countries are saying that East and West Asia, they will not be major contributors to it. There are problems of political instability, resources, or human capital. These problems are there here, which will enter into the problems of G20 also. Okay? G20 right now is talking about climate finance or SDGs, right? Then it will start talking about human capital, social indicators, and all that. Okay? So the idea with which G20 is created will shift. But what is the problem in that? Right? That is also the problem of this world itself. It has to be resolved in this world itself. So ultimately, the excuses are lame, but these are the excuses that they are saying. They are also saying that Africa might not be able to give meaningful contribution to G20. That is why they are objecting the membership of African Union. Okay. So here we will also be reading about the India-Africa relations. Okay. What all steps we have taken so far, on what all steps further we need to take to integrate better with Africa. Okay. So far, in terms of the answer can be written in terms of history, society, polity, economy, and all that. So historically, we have fought for the independence of many countries of Africa, including South Africa. Okay. Plus, we have participated with with African countries in NAM also. You remember any country? Which African country was member to NAM? Founding member of NAM. Who were the founding members of NAM? India? No. Huh? Huh? South Africa. No, louder. I not hear you. Who were the founding members of NAM is my question. We should have a current affairs test also, no? We have studied about NAM, right, in class? NAM 2.0, I remember. The new enemy is China. Okay, but we can still have current affairs test. Okay. So I was asking who were the founding members of NAM. Okay, agreed with India and Yugoslavia, Ghana, Indonesia, and that one more country is also member to Africa, part of Africa. Egypt, exactly. Egypt and Ghana were two African members who were member to NAM. Okay. Usually we have heard of Marshal Tito from Yugoslavia, Abdul Nasir from Egypt, and Jawaharlal Nehru from India only. But there are also leaders from Indonesia and Ghana. Okay. So Ghana and Egypt were the two countries which were from Africa, which were founding members of NAM. Okay. So that was the historical tie between India and Africa. The social ties, I told you, ITEC. ITEC is the project wherein we are calling youth from the countries of Africa or wherever we are launching ITEC. It can be Malaysia also, Maldives also, anywhere. We are calling youth from there, asking them to study in Indian universities, giving them degree and sending them back. Okay? ITEC. As discussed earlier, since ages we have been promising to Tanzania that we will be opening an IIT, again reiterated under National Education Policy of 2020, not enacted yet. ITEC is there. ITEC mein to we are calling youth, right? IIT mein we will be setting up an IIT in Tanzania. Okay? Political association means we have Indian Ocean Rim Association, India plus certain countries of Africa which are touching Indian Ocean. We have the political association. Project Mosam, you know about Project Mosam? That's a cultural part. Have you heard of Project Mosam? Nobody? Project Mosam is a initiative of Ministry of Culture. Okay? So basically what we are doing is we will be establishing cultural relationship with countries which are touching Indian Ocean. So Project Mosam is also related to Indian Ocean only. All the countries which are touching Indian Ocean, we will have a cultural relationship, cultural enhancement. Okay? Plus defense mein we had signed a Gandhinagar declaration. Gandhinagar declaration mein we asked for a collaborative joint defense exercises, okay, between India and African nations. They also already started doing within their own country. Okay. In economic relations, we have economic relations with South Africa, Nigeria, and Egypt. So we are major. These three countries are the major importers and exporters of India. Okay. You have any idea of what are the exports from India? Major exports from India. Pharmaceuticals, gems and jewelry. Gems and jewelry are the major exports of India. Huh? Sorry. Motor vehicles. Three things you need to remember. This you can write confidently in any country. Okay? First thing is pharmaceutical. Second thing is gems and jewelry. Third is petroleum refined products. Okay? This you can write in any country. But this is majorly traded with these three countries: South Africa, Nigeria, and Egypt. We not Africa. We are not buying it from Africa. We are buying it from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran. But yes, we are filtering, refining, and selling it. But they do not. They are not extracting it. It's China who is extracting. Okay.
China is extracting it and using it for their own, not selling it in the country.
Okay. You have seen that movie Blood Diamond? Anybody seen? It's a Hollywood movie, Blood Diamond. Nobody? Nobody watches Hollywood movies here? Not cinema. Watch that movie. It's how in Africa people are getting exploited. Diamond rich region, how people are getting exploited. That's the movie about that. Objecting, yes, no other countries are objecting because you are not going there. Nobody is ready to go there. We still have COVID in Africa. How can somebody think of going there? Right? But China is extracting and countries are not objecting. See, if the thing is, if you want, you come and participate, extract and go. Or if you want to undertake development. See, with India, the problem is with India, we have an international image of being very good. Okay? Even if we say that we are undertaking a development project, we will be definitely undertaking a development project only. Let's say let's say we are gaining profit out of it, but we will be undertaking development only there. Okay? With this also we are not doing right now in Africa. The most important reason there is prevalence, poor social indicators, extremely poor. All the diseases that you hear, Ebola, Zika, Corona, all of them are there. People will not be willing to go there, right? Okay. So we were discussing about economic Gandhinagar declaration. I told you defense exercises between India and African countries. Plus digital we have an initiative, Pan African E-Network initiative, wherein we have introduced the concept of telemedicine, digital education in Africa. Okay? But which is not working because they need to establish the network also, right? Okay. These are the areas we need to work upon. We need to establish an Africa Growth Fund. Okay? We need to infuse money here. We need to improve the funding of Africa basically. Plus, we need to expand the line of credit. Now, I want to know whether you know the meaning of line of credit or not. I know this. Huh? Line of credit. No. What is line of credit? Huh? Giving loans, partially correct. Oh, acha, everybody is okay. There is a difference between loan and line of credit. That is the difference. That is the difference. Line of credit may we are giving let's say $100 billion is the line of credit we are providing to Sri Lanka. We provided right now. We have provided to Sri Lanka. So that means $100 billion is allocated to Sri Lanka. You use whatever amount you want to use and leave the amount, rest of the amount there itself. Okay? whatever amount you are using, only on that part I'll be charging you interest. Okay? So there is a difference between loan and line of credit. Extending line of credit is usually done in a diplomatic manner for healthy relations between two countries. Okay? Because I have kept this much amount of money. I could have used this much amount of money to circulate in my economy itself. I did not do so because I want you to develop. You use whatever you want to use, and only for that part which you have used, I'll be charging you interest. That is the line of credit. So we have to expand the line of credit to Africa. Okay? Plus, the paper was also asking to open up a national center for African studies. So exchange of students will occur here. We will be going to, I don't think, but there's an option that you can go and study in Africa. African students can come and study in India. There's a problem here also. African students coming to India for studies, they are facing racial discrimination, extreme amount of racial discrimination. And there was a case in Delhi where people were beating up African students. Okay, just because for two important reasons. First is 50% the story is genuine. They are drug smugglers. They are very much involved in the drug racketing. Okay, plus 50%. The rest 50%. The positive side is they become a victim of racial discrimination. Just because they are black in color, they are as presumed to be drug traffickers or drug smugglers. No, I have seen you check. This is, I think, not even 3 years, 4 years pre-COVID. Definitely in Delhi, people have started suddenly. They started beating African students. What happens in Delhi will be the image of what happens in India, right? See, in Delhi also there is a good chunk of African students who are studying in Delhi University also. We have such examples, but there have been such incidents wherein the students of Africa were beaten up. See, there was just one student in Australia who was beaten up, for which we created an issue, right? Only one student, but still we created an issue because my student is studying in your country. If he faces some kind of problem, it is a problem for my country, right? So even if it is one child, one student becoming a victim of calling them as drug smugglers, and because they becoming a victim of violence, so there is a problem. Obviously Africa should react, right? And they faced reaction. Are there here? Yes, they will protest, but what happens ultimately? Do we stop discriminating? We forget about Africans, we will discriminate amongst ourselves also. Forget about Africans. But I'm saying in general, this is a problem. This is a prevailing problem. Okay? Plus, we should undertake the infrastructural development here. So now you can write a full-fledged answer. Can you write a full-fledged answer? Okay, this is not the question. I'll change the question now. Okay, so what this newspaper is suggesting, how should India encourage membership? Because the final decision definitely will be taken on 8th and 9th of September itself. But the recommendations are, we can send special envoys. For example, when Prime Minister went to Johannesburg meeting in BRICS, he said that I'm sure BRICS will not object to African Union's membership to G20. This was the statement from Prime Minister. That is an adamant statement that I am already accepting that BRICS is ready, right? Because he said that I am sure BRICS will not reject African Union's membership to G20. If he is making a statement like this, that means he is presuming that BRICS is agreeing to this, right? So right now, what the Prime Minister is undertaking is, wherever he is going, he is advertising, let African Union become a member to G20, right? But plus, what he can do is, if you are not agreeing, let's say Australia is not agreeing, I'll send an envoy to Australia. You please get convinced. Let African Union become a member too. Ultimately, we want India also to become a member to African, get into good relationship with African Union, or at least the world should see what China is doing in Africa. Okay? Plus telephone diplomacy, you should call, Prime Minister should call every country and say, please, African Union, Africa. And finally, go by consensus. Finally, the decision will be taken by consensus only. Okay? Okay. Saw the map of Africa? Please answer this question. I want the answer. I want to know how many of you know the answer. Can answer this question. Are you more than one options? I don't want the answer. I want to know how many of you know the answer. अभी तो मैप दिखाए थे नाइजर का. हाँ, joining Africa. That's what. Ki first and foremost reason we told you na ki right now India is shifting away from the developing countries. We are moving towards the developed countries. So we are looking for a market. Africa will be that market. Plus in India, if you see, by experience, I'm saying the labor has become very costly now, very costly. So we are losing that part wherein we used to advertise ki India mein cheap labor, India mein cheap labor. You come to India. Now we do not have cheap labor in India. So we are looking for a cheap labor provided by Africa. Plus, China is heavily depending upon, see, you remember this statement. China is right now the largest economic partner of Africa. So we also want to use the minerals which are present in Africa. Plus, whatever we have this foreign policy, कि सर्वधर्म ये Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So wherein we want every region to develop. So we want Africa also to develop. This should be the first line. Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The rest should be your next pointers. No.
Countries making, for example, if NATO wasn't there, this war would
No. NATO came by this end of Second World War. Marshall Plan के बाद ही NATO आया, right? What about why did the First and Second World War occur?
against the idea of one nation, one world,
One nation. No. See, I'm telling you again. See, IR is always about two people. Always about two people. Your behavior with your friend can be exactly replicated with India's behavior. Let's say with Russia or India's behavior. See, if you are talking too much to one of your friend, the other third friend of yours will keep an eye. What are they talking about? Same thing is happening between India, Russia, and US also, right? As soon as we had a meet with you, our Prime Minister went to USA, right? First week of this month or last week of previous month itself. Okay, as soon as he took a flight from USA back to India, he called the Russian president and informed all the things that they communicated. Okay, informed may not be the right word, but yes, at least everything was communicated to him. It is international relations is exactly how two people behave in society. You forming a grouping, let's say you form a group of all your college students. So is it against your neutral feeling about all others? No, right? You can still be neutral to others, even if you're forming a grouping of your own college students. The same thing. Because African Union will not be there. Plus, G20 is India is presiding over G20 right now. This is the right opportunity to mend the direction of G20 to Africa. Now, answer this question, please, without looking into the maps. Okay, what all can we eliminate? Everybody? Niger? Eliminated. Okay. What about Sudan? Touching Mediterranean Sea? No. Okay. Sudan is touching the Red Sea. Sudan may we have one necklace, diamond necklace. Okay, sorry. Diamond necklace is India's, all the countries who are friend of India in the Southeast Asia region and Central Asia region. Okay, diamond necklace consists of all the countries who are good friend of India. Okay, it is exact opposite to string of pearls. String of pearls is all the countries who are good friend of China. Okay, Sudan may we have one port by the name Al Dakam, which is India, which has allowed Indian military to be present in that region. So Sudan is actually touching the Red Sea, not the Mediterranean Sea. Red Sea is to the which side of Mediterranean Sea? East. Thank you. East side. Okay, agreed. Sudan is not touching Mediterranean Sea. What about Tunisia? Anybody saying no? Confused? Okay, we will verify this. The answer is Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco, but we will verify this. This is Tunisia. This is the Mediterranean Sea. So this is Tunisia, this is Algeria, and this is Morocco. So some part of Morocco is towards the Mediterranean side. Just after the Strait of Gibraltar also we have Morocco that is touching the Atlantic side. So Morocco is touching Atlantic Ocean also, Mediterranean Sea also. Okay. Okay. Next topic is the marine heat waves. Okay, we are discussing about marine heat waves because of one news which has emerged, that is Panama Canal is drying up. Okay. Now my question is, where is Panama Canal? Okay. All of us agree with this, between North and South America? Okay. So can you tell me, no, you don't agree with this? Okay. You agree with this? Panama is lying between North and South America? No. You agree with this? Don't know? Then please open. At least Atlas, so you guys won't be having? Okay, from next current affairs class, please get Atlas. If we are discussing IR, we have to see Atlas. Please open Google Maps in your phone, because but I don't like this at all, because it will not give you the correct picture of international image map. Okay, but as of now, please open in phone. The answer is correct. You three don't answer this question. Okay, please rest of the class answer this. If it is the isthmus connecting North and South America, okay, what are the two water bodies it is separating? All of us agree with this part? Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, separated by the small strip of land, which consists of countries like Panama, Nicaragua, some parts of Mexico also. Any other country? No, Venezuela. Venezuela is also touching both the sea. अच्छा ठीक है. हाँ, Colombia, correct. Costa Rica, correct. हाँ. Okay, so these are the small strip of countries which are joining. Basically, this was as a piece of land, they were joining the North and South America, and because we have cut down this piece of land, so now they are joining the two water bodies, that is the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Now my question is, you know the difference between these two? All of us? Those who are not attending the geography class also? You know the difference between isthmus and strait? You know what is an isthmus? How many of you do not know? You know what is an isthmus? Can you please tell louder? Correct. An isthmus is a small strip of land connecting two big, large land masses and separating two water bodies. Isthmus. Strait is exact opposite of isthmus. Strait is something that is connecting two large water bodies and separating land masses. You know the location of Malacca Strait? How? Please note down. Do all those who have not attended the geography class, this is important for you guys. First thing, once you go back home today, please mark these important straits. Okay, you should know about the locations of Strait of Malacca. Okay, you should know about the location of Park Strait. If you do not know, please check the location of this. Strait of Gibraltar. Okay, Strait of Gibraltar separates. Strait of Gibraltar, okay, joins which two water bodies? Mediterranean Sea and Atlantic Ocean. Okay? So you should look at the location of Strait of Gibraltar also. You should look at the location of Suez Canal also. Okay? Suez Canal, all of us know? Connecting which two water bodies? Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है. Suez Canal connects Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. ठीक है. You should be knowing about Strait of Bab el Mandeb also. Okay. Huh? Joins which two water bodies? Bab el Mandeb, Red Sea and Indian Ocean. Okay, Arabian Sea also. Red Sea and Indian Ocean is also fine. Okay. So please note down on the world map. You need to mark these locations: Strait of Gibraltar, then Strait of Malacca, Park Strait, Suez Canal. Anything else we discussed? Bab el Mandeb. BAB space EL MANDEB. Bab al Mandeb. ठीक है. Sometimes they will write AL also, sometimes EL also. ठीक है. Okay, so we are reading about this marine heat waves is because Panama Canal is drying up. Okay, so Panama Canal is the beholder of almost 40% of trade. Okay, out of which 2/3 is carried out by USA. Okay, if you know the location of Panama Canal, if you know the location, where is Panama? All of you saw the location of Panama Canal, right? If you know the location, now you can understand why it is very important for USA. If it has to trade from its eastern coast to western coast also, it has to cross through the Panama Canal, right? This is the reason why it is very important for USA. Okay? Because if they have to carry out trade from its western coast to eastern coast also, it will have to cross through the Panama Canal. If it was not there, then they will have to cross through the entire of South America, and then reach the eastern part. Okay? So this is very important for USA, and which is drying up, a very big problem for USA. Okay? This is how it looks like. Panama Canal looks like this. Okay? But there was this engineering problem associated to Panama Canal. If you see, once you go back home today, please open the physical map, because in physical map you will be able to see the mountains also there. If you see, this entire region was full of mountains. Okay? This entire region was full of mountains. This side is the Atlantic Ocean side. This side is the this side is the Atlantic. This side is the Pacific Ocean, and it was all full of mountains. So what this was initially, the initial plan was that France was trying to build this canal, and it was trying to cut down this entire piece of mountain and trying to connect the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. Okay? It failed. Then American engineers, what they did was they built an artificial lake here, because some part of the mountain was cut, so they have built an artificial lake here. Now the engineering marvel here is this: once the ship reaches here, okay, there is a gate. This gate is closed, and water is filled between these two gates, and the ship is lightened up, okay, uplifted, and then it travels through this entire lake. After crossing this gate, there is another gate. So what they will do is they will remove water from that gate. The ship will sink down and then enter into the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. Now, if this lake dries up, that means the problem is now we do not have the connectivity, right? And this lake is now drying up. Okay? So Panama Canal is facing problem because of canal depends on lake, and which is close to its minimum levels. Okay? Plus, there is an unprecedented dry season right now witnessed by this region. Okay? Although very close to equator. By location, if you see, it's very close to equator, totally within tropics, but still facing unprecedented dry season. Okay? Plus its dependence on fresh water. So this entire region is filled with fresh water. First, most important reason why they have filled it with fresh water is because they do not want the waters of Pacific and Atlantic to mix with each other. Okay? So they have filled this region with fresh water. Now fresh water availability is again a problem, right? So which is causing this Panama Canal to dry up. Okay? So this is the first region, which is now what the various countries under UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on Law of Seas, UNCLOS. Okay, what they are asking is, now countries, because you cannot carry heavy weight, you do not want to touch the ground here, so you carry less weight here. Obviously, it becomes economically unviable, right? Countries are being asked to carry less weight. Okay? So for all these reasons, Panama Canal was in news. Okay? Marine heat wave in general is a problem of all the major economies of the world. Okay? The second country which is facing this problem is Italy, and it was not this. It is not right now. This was the problem they were facing in the month of February. Okay? These are known as the gondolas of Venice. They are basically the secondary channels. Okay? These are salt water itself. This entire is filled with salt water itself, and it's a canal wherein the sea water is drained into the region. If you see the location of Italy, it is full of islands, right? At least the Sicily part and south, the part which is separating Aegean Sea and Ionian Sea. This is all part of full of islands, okay? And these islands, what they have done is they have redirected seawater, and the majority of transportation are occurring through these gondolas, okay? Now these gondolas have dried up. Gondolas of Venice have dried up. The reasons being, this entire region is under high pressure system. In the month of February and all, they witnessed the high pressure system. High pressure system matlab air is sinking. If the air is sinking, they will not be having rainfall. Okay, this is the problem of entire temperate belt. Entire temperate belt may, if you see, there is more occurrence of anticyclone. We will not be getting into the geography part of it. Okay? But I'll just explain you what is this high pressure system. High pressure system may, what happens is, as a consequence of high pressure system, air starts sinking down. Okay? At any place, if air starts to rise up, it will bind moisture and cause rainfall. But if the air is sinking down, it will remove the moisture and keep the region dry. This happened with Italy this year, okay, which dried the entire region. Rest of you who has understood geography, who have studied geography, I can ask questions related to high pressure, right? I can ask, right? Okay, I'll not ask because they do not know. Okay, high pressure system. The second problem is low tides. Because of low tides, the level of water is not entering into the coastal areas. Okay, so that is the second problem why Venice is drying up. And the third is the overall drought-like condition. Overall drought-like conditions are because of the sinking air itself. Okay, sinking air will cause less amount of rainfall. Okay. In that's what we do not want that the two waters to meet. There are so many problems here. The natural ecosystem was not having salt water, right? The natural ecosystem itself was a freshwater species itself. Getting my matlab, you will be changing the ecosystem of the region if you're changing it into brackish water. Ocean currents will be disturbed. Why? Ocean currents will be disturbed if we fill it with salt water. Uh-huh. Okay. Huh. Oh my God. That is too much. See, I'll agree with this. Changes in salinity will cause change in currents, right? Because we know that current, causative factor of current is also salinity. So if we are changing the salinity of that zone, it will change the current also. Agreed with this part. But it will change the overall climate is something far. It will have currents, stronger currents, you mean to say?
Yeah, it has higher temperatures and due to that it has warmer currents and all of that. But Atlantic Ocean has lower temperatures and therefore it has cooler currents. And if we mix that, there will be differences in currents.
Agreed with this part that there will be differences in currents, but it will affect the climate.
Yeah. Atlantic Ocean will get more, let's say, cooler. Then you can't even use the ports in UK.
Oh my God, we still have North Atlantic drift going there, na? That is not going to change.
You mix it quickly, it will change the whole.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. Cascading effect, you mean to say. Domino effect. Agreed. See, I will totally agree with this point. Okay? But see, in newspapers, what happens is if you start reading the consequences of anything, let's say PM 2.5 inhalation, it will lead to cancer also. That's what they write. I'm not making fun of your point. I am agreeing with your point. The effect change in salinity will change the weather system of that place. But this what they are saying is change of climate or inability to use the port is something PM 2.5 causing cancer. It is the ultimate consequence. If it happens consecutively for years together, this is going to happen. Okay?
Separation can be there. Why? What is the need of filling it with fresh water? Why not salt water? There can be barriers there.
That's what the original ecosystem itself was freshwater ecosystem, right? Uh-huh. Okay, can I check this? This is online, so I cannot. Salt deposition can affect functioning of the gate also. Salt will get deposited, right? So it will affect the smooth functioning of the. But it should be affecting the other side of the gate, right? The other side of the gate which is having salt water.
Raise the water which is over here, right? So if we use salt water, the salts will go and deposit in the drain and the pipes and all. So we'll have to do a maintenance like much further, like much more frequently.
Relatively more disturbance will be there because of the salt water, because it gets deposited in any of the gates plus the supply. But what I see is because the natural ecosystem itself was the fresh water, so that is, if we fill it with fresh water, that is the prevailing ecosystem we will be supporting. That can be one of the reasons, but we will still find out. Okay. Okay. Any other confusion? No doubt? No? Okay. Okay. So the next thing is, okay, we have studied the problem occurring in Panama Canal, the problem occurring in gondolas of Venice. Okay. This problem is also persistent in Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Mediterranean Sea is also warming up. Okay. We are witnessing increased temperature plus presence of, because of increasing temperature, there is a influx of invasive species. Okay. Invasive species are responsible for changing the entire ecosystem. They are eating up the on the food of, or they are eating up on the resources of rest of the species also. Okay. So they will overpower them. Okay. This we are witnessing in Mediterranean Sea also. Plus, it is obviously affecting the livelihood. For example, these are the two fishes, invasive. One is rabbit fish, the other one is puffer fish. You can see, all of you can see. This is even a poisonous fish, invasive poisonous fish, and this is also invasive species. Okay, these two species have increased in Mediterranean Sea. Okay, it is affecting the livelihood because people are not demanding these fishes, but that is what they are getting. Okay, so it has overall reduced the economic productivity of the fishermen in Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Okay, there is one more problem here. I don't know why is it not mentioned here. The jellyfish. Okay. So there is one more problem faced with Mediterranean Sea itself is invasive species may jellyfish. Jellyfish has also they have proliferated in number. Okay? Because of the circular movement of Mediterranean Sea, this entire region in center is full of jellyfishes. Okay? Which at times is changing the central color of Mediterranean Sea also, because wherever they are clubbing together in huge number, they are changing the color of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? So these are some of the problems faced by Mediterranean Sea because of the increasing temperatures. Okay? Now this is the global picture of where all we are facing marine heat waves. Okay? Here is the Mediterranean Sea, the maximum amount of change occurring here, or here is also too much amount of change occurring here. Okay? New Zealand ke south western part. Okay? Once you read in geography, you will be reading there is one current going. What is the name of the current? West wind drift. West wind drift is the current. Circumpolar or navigation is also circumpolar current is also the name of that current, but it is known as west wind drift. Okay? West wind drift is the part which is moving here. It is actually a cold current. Okay? Now cold current is increasing its temperature. That is why we are calling this as a marine heat wave. It has not turned into a warm current, but the temperature of cold current itself has started to increase. Okay? This is being witnessed in all this part. In western part, southwest part of South America also it is there. In southwest part of Africa also it is there. Southwest part of Australia also it is there, because it is moving in this direction only. Okay? So wherever it is moving away from land mass, it is cooling down. As soon as it starts coming towards the land mass, it warms up. Okay? Overall, the definition of marine heat waves can be written as increase in 3 to 4 degrees for a consecutive period of 5 days. If we witness there is an increase in temperature of 3 to 4 degrees, we will be calling this region as a marine heat waves hit region. Okay? Okay, so can you tell me about the causes of marine heat wave? Global warming, agreed. So global warming has contributed to almost 1 degree increase in marine heat wave. 0.9 is was the newspaper data. 0.9 degrees increase in marine heat wave is occurring because of global warming itself. Okay? What is happening is, because of global warming, carbon dioxide is absorbed by aquatics, marine water bodies. Okay? Because of this absorption of carbon dioxide, its temperature is increasing. This increase is approximately 0.9 degrees. Any other reason for marine heat wave? नहीं, see, okay, marine heat wave का anthropogenic causes I'm asking. Forest fire causing marine heat wave. No, that's a consequence of marine heat wave. Huh? I don't know what is zombie fire. As in zombie fire, you mean to say forest fire only, occurring in huge numbers?
It's like forest fire.
But acha, you mean to say कि they are increasing the global temperatures? Okay, so that we can still put under global warming only, right? Any other? Oil spill, correct. Oil spill will create a sheet of oil on water. Okay, this is known as the slack, which will not allow sunlight to penetrate. So automatically the marine species will die off, increasing the temperature in that region. Okay, so oil spill can be the second reason. Third reason, any other reason? Oh my god, why should it decrease? Oh, acha, you mean to say because sunlight is not penetrating. But sunlight is not penetrating, so the phytoplanktons will also not live, right? The one who was responsible for adding oxygen and cooling down that part, they will also not live, right? Increased water traffic. Matlab, sorry, explain.
Lot of ships and everything is moving, pollution will come there, space and all those.
This is known as the ballast water. BALLAST. This is known as a ballast water, which is a problem. Okay. Another, this is known as IUU fishing. India was charged with this. क्या हुआ यार? Working. Okay. This is known as IUU fishing. Okay. This is illegal, unregulated, and one more U. India was charged for this at WTO by USA. They claimed that India is undertaking IUU fishing. Okay, because what do we do in fishing is deep sea fishing. Where what do we do is we will carry a deep trawlers. We say this. Okay, it is a vertical mesh, and with that we will move inside the deep waters, and whatever comes in, we will be catching all of that. Okay, so this is extensive form of fishing. We will not be leaving out on anything. Okay. India was charged for this, but ultimately we came out of this claim that we were not undertaking this fishing. So excessive fishing is also a problem because it will disturb the ecosystem. We are taking. IUU fishing we are doing. We are doing in deep sea. We are doing fishing. Okay. Sri Lanka is the only country which has banned deep trawlers. They will not be carrying out fishing in deep sea. Only country to do so. Okay. So we were discussing about the problems. The causes of marine heat wave. So the first cause is absorption of GHGs. For example, I was telling you that carbon dioxide absorbed by marine ocean. So because of this absorption, it is increasing the temperature. Okay. Plus, second is the global warming. So global warming is increasing the surface temperature, air temperature, which is also increasing the sea surface temperature. Okay. Plus, the third reason is biodiversity loss in aquatic ecosystem. Can be coral bleaching, can be excessive fishing also. Okay. Fourth reason is oil spill, and last reason is ballast water. ठीक है, ballast water and exchange of water system. This is also responsible for introduction of invasive species. So what happens is, see, with we will trade using ships. So cargo, a ship is loaded with the cargo with whatever it has to trade. Okay? It takes this and goes to the destination. Now, as soon as it starts to unload, this might lose the balance, right? So what we do there is we are taking out cargo from one side, filling water on the other side, so that that balance is maintained. Okay? And once you remove all of this, okay, once you remove all of this, this entire empty ship is brought to its source and this water is released then. That means if we are trading with America, we are bringing American water in Indian Ocean, right? This is known as the ballast water. This water is known as the ballast water and it is responsible for introduction of invasive species. For example, in Indian Ocean, we have a star coral, starfish coral. Okay? This is an invasive species in Indian Ocean coming from America because of the ballast water. Okay? So this is also responsible for causing marine heat wave. Okay? Okay, so consequences also we know. Consequences can be, somebody said 1 or 2 pointers. Coral bleaching. Coral bleaching, okay. Kelp, kelp forest. Kelps are basically algae living in cold waters. Okay, they are deep sea algae. They are. I don't have the image right now, but you can check. For all those who have not seen, KELP. These are algal species, very tall, living in cold waters only. Okay? So because of increasing temperatures, they require cold water, right? As soon as the temperature starts increasing, they will start to die off. Okay? They also have problems of certain fungal disease. Sea urchins are the feeders, right? The bacteria was something else. Okay, they also have the problem of bacteria, but here we are not discussing it. In marine heat wave is causing the destruction of kelp forests also. Okay? Kelp is a forest, I'm saying. In deep sea, they will look like a forest itself. Colony of algae, correct. Yes, it is a colony of algae. Okay? So consequences of consequences on biodiversity of marine heat waves is the first reason. Dissolved oxygen will decrease because as soon as the temperature of water starts to increase, it will release the oxygen which it is binding. Okay? So automatically the amount of dissolved oxygen will decrease, plus it will increase the rate of metabolism also, because in any medium, if you are increasing the temperature of that medium, you are increasing the metabolic activity. Okay? So increase in metabolism will also cause more consumption of oxygen, thereby declining the presently dissolved oxygen. Okay? Benthic species are most affected because benthic species will include species such as corals. So because of coral bleaching, less amount of carbon dioxide will now be trapped. Okay? So less carbon sink will occur. Carbon sink is something which is acting as a beholder of carbon. Okay? So less of carbon sink will occur. Kelp forest and fish kill will occur. It has occurred in 2010-11. 2010-11 was the worst affected year of marine heat waves. Okay? In Western Australia part, we witnessed fish kills and the coral bleaching occurring there. Okay? And marine species get confused about currents and migration pattern, because obviously the temperature is increasing, so they are thinking that this is a warm current, so they will start moving in the opposite direction. Okay? Plus they become a jellyfish hotspot, for example that of Mediterranean Sea. Any confusion here? No? Nobody? Nobody, right? Okay. Okay, so other consequences can be increased intensity of cyclones, because for the formation of cyclone, we want the sea surface temperature to reach 27 degrees. Okay? If it is increasing more than 27 degrees, matlab more supply of heat will occur from water, more water vapor will be absorbed by the clouds. That means whatever rainfall this particular cyclone was causing, it will cause more intensive rainfall. Okay? Leading to formation of super cyclones. In India, of late, we have witnessed increased number of super cyclones. That is because of increasing warming of Bay of Bengal. Okay? Livelihood of coastal communities obviously getting affected. Indian monsoon also gets affected because there is a change in pattern of flow of water. Okay, because the temperature of water is increasing. Let's say it is increasing in the Madagascar region, which is responsible for feeding Indian monsoon. If the temperature there is increasing, I'm not talking about Indian Ocean dipole or nothing in geography. Okay? Not talking anything related to El Nino, Indian Ocean dipole, nothing. I'm simply talking about increase in temperature of water from Madagascar region, which is responsible for feeding the monsoon in India. Okay? If the temperature here is increasing, it might affect the monsoon. Okay? Plus unusual heavy rains witnessed in northeastern India. This we are witnessing this year. Okay? Unusually heavy rains we are witnessing in northeastern part of India. Okay? So these were the consequences of marine heat waves. Now please try to answer this question. Just now I showed you a map of Mediterranean Sea, na? Huh? I showed you, we discussed Mediterranean Sea. In that the countries were not mentioned, is it? Acha, acha. So I have you, I don't have you. Acha, okay, okay. Sorry. Portugal is not touching Mediterranean Sea. Not touching Mediterranean Sea? Yes, it is not touching Mediterranean Sea. It is after Spain. Okay? It is not touching Mediterranean. So Portugal does not touch Mediterranean Sea. What about Algeria? Egypt? Jordan? Please open the map and check. Please open the map and check once. Jordan does not touches Mediterranean. It's Lebanon. It's Lebanon which is touching the Mediterranean. Jordan is to the western part of Syria after Dead Sea. Check it. I'm asking you to check. Syria, yes. It touches Syria. The map is like this. Here is the Dead Sea. After this, we have Jordan here. This is Syria. This is Egypt. You know, there was a time wherein, after putting this border between Egypt and Syria, Egypt under what Syria? Sorry, this is Israel. Sorry, this is Israel. Okay, and what happened is, you remember, have we discussed about, no, we have not discussed about Israel, we have not discussed, na? Okay, I'll tell you a small story here. Israel is a country which is not in good terms with all the neighbors, okay? Because majority of the neighbors are Muslims and Israel is a Jewish country. Okay? So what they did was, Israel, they had built a wall here, okay? And it was almost a few kilometers under the ground also, okay? and obviously above the ground also. What Egypt used to do, it had built a tunnel under those few kilometers and transporting, supplying arms to Israel, the Palestinian part of Israel. Okay, because Egypt wanted Israel to be dominated by Palestinians, so they were crossing over this border and transferring arms, supplying arms from Egypt to Palestine. So you should remember, here to the south of Israel we have Egypt, because this is how they will supply the arms. Here I think we have Lebanon, no? Or the capital of Lebanon, may that accident occurred. Ammonium nitrate. It was a factory of ammonium nitrate which blew up. Okay, it was like firecrackers. Huh? Cargo. Name it was sorry, factory. I mean storage. Not factory, not manufacturing. Colonial factory. Factory matlab the storage part. Okay, of ammonium nitrate which blew up. So this is Lebanon. Okay. In colonial India, that was factory only. If we say the factory was set up in Surat, matlab it was a storage house, storehouse. Okay. Coming to Jordan, does Jordan touch Mediterranean Sea? Acha, no. Okay. What about Syria? Syria is an ally of Russia. Okay. What about Israel? Okay. So the answer will be 1, 3, 5, 6. All of you check the location in map. Agreed? Convinced with the answer? Everybody? Okay. From next class, please get atlas. Okay. Now this is the question that you need to answer. You need to answer. Now. Okay, not now. Let me finish other topics in that case. I'll finish few more topics, then we will come back. But we will I write this answer today in class itself. Okay. Now the next topic, I will not give you question now, because you will cheat the content. No, you will not, right? Okay, please take down the question, but don't write the answer. We'll start it from 4:10 or 4:05. We'll just finish one more topic, curriculum framework. I did not give you guys break, but because I'll finish off the class by 4:30, that's okay, right? How many of you have attended the morning class also? Hey, yes. You people have not attended? Oh, so these many students. What class was going? Oh, it's a merged batch, is it? Okay. Okay. Then I sympathize. 4:30 we will end, You can relate. Can't. So let me know if you are not able to understand. Okay? I'll be more than happy to explain it once again. No. At 4 you will write answers. 4:30 you will leave. In 10 minutes, one topic will finish off. Curriculum framework. Okay? See, to come to my class or leave out of my class, you don't need permission. You don't need permission to eat inside the class also. I don't have any problem. Until and unless you people are studying, I don't have any problem. If the tiffin is very tasty, you can share it with me. I'll be happy to do that also. Okay. Coming to next topic, this is National Curriculum Framework. We'll come back to class, please. Okay, National Curriculum Framework. So what has happened is, we'll come back to the class, please, after the class. You can discuss if it is required. Something informative you can share. Okay. So National Curriculum Framework is the overall framework. For example, we had a national education policy, right? The national education policy was something a change in the pattern in which we have been studying till now. For example, till now all of us, we have studied class 1, 2, 3, at least 1, 2, 3. Before that, you would have definitely studied LKG, UKG, or nursery prep or something like that. then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 10th May you wrote your first board exam. Some people might have written it in 8th also, okay, Sahodaya board, and then final board exam in 12th, right? This was the schooling system by which we were following. So now there has been a change in the system, okay? The new policy is known as the National Education Policy, which came up in 2020, okay? Now, because we have to implement this policy, we need certain rules. These rules have been given by NCERT, and these rules are known as the National Curriculum Framework. Okay? So, final draft of, this is not the draft, sorry, the final NCF, National Curriculum Framework, is out now. Okay? By NCERT stands for National Council for Education, Research and Training, for these books you people are reading. Okay? This framework is done to implement National Education Policy 2020, and we have had 4 revisions of NCF done till now. Okay? And this is the final one, which is talking about language. Has anybody studied curriculum framework? No, because it is a major, you've studied, good. Okay, so because it is a major overhaul, how many subjects have you studied in, how many language have you studied in class 11th and 12th? Mandatory. Board exam may what one, right? Board you have given for only one language, right? Now those people who will be marks of both the language would not have been added. Only one. I have also given board exam. For state it is 2. Acha. Okay. Oh, correct. For ICSC people will also study a lot. But I was from CBSE, only one language. Okay. We have given board exam with only one language. And 2 languages in 10th board, right? I'm talking about CBSE. Now, CBSE may, there are 3 languages with which class 9th and 10th you should study. 3 mandatory language to be studied in class 9th and 10th, and 2 mandatory language to be studied in class 11th and 12th. Okay? Out of the 3 mandatory languages, 2 must be Indian languages only. It cannot be English. Matlab, apart from English, you need to study any 2 languages. It can be Hindi, Kannada, it can be Tamil, Telugu, any 2 languages. Okay? But not French or Spanish or anything like that. School will arrange for that. School will give you options only according to that. For example, in my school, we had with maths optional as economics and then IP, computer science. That's it. So people will opt for maths and physical education also, right?
For languages, say any language you can opt. Then if there is no option to opt,
then you cannot opt. Then you will have to change the school. See, this was a problem earlier also. You were given a limited option because your school was giving you only that. School was having that many options. That's why you were given that option. If the school hires a separate teacher, then the problem can be resolved. No. I don't. I think that this is something very good. I see. Go ahead.
school can't arrange.
No, now they will have to arrange. See, the problem till now was South Indian states were not ready to shift towards Hindi. Okay, which is a genuine problem. I also believe that it's a genuine problem. Please let me. Okay, so they were not ready to shift towards Hindi, which is a genuine problem. I agree. Okay. The North Indian states are not ready to study any of the South Indian languages, Karnataka, Tamil, Telugu, anything. Okay, not even Hindi belt speaking. You ask them to study Punjabi, they will not do. Okay. Now, if we are pursuing them to study more than one language, we are causing them to integrate at least with that particular state. Let's say Kannadigas are studying Telugu also. That means we are integrating these 2 states, right? We are asking you to study one more Indian language so that integration happens. Oh, this is true for all schools, CBS. So that is what now all the schools have to do. So now all CBSE schools will have to do so. Because I wrote in 12th board only English, only one language. Okay, now we will have to take mandatorily 2 language board exams in class 12 and mandatorily 3 language board exams in class 10. Okay, out of the 3 languages that you are giving for board exam, one can be non-Indian language, the other 2 must be an Indian language, which is good only, right? Integration will occur. Okay, this problem of non-congruence towards Hindi or non-congruence towards any other state, that's what I'm telling you. The Hindi belt people, they will not even study Punjabi, Rajasthani. Rajasthani is not even under schedule 8 right now, but let's say Assamese, Bengali also they will not read. Okay, Hindi belt people will opt for Sanskrit rather. I have given my board exams in Sanskrit only, 10th board exam in Sanskrit and English. Okay, we do not opt for because it's not scoring, simple. Now the problem is the change right now has occurred is we will be conducting multiple board exams, but you shift towards more language. Okay, which is a good thing for integration. So first thing is language. First change under curriculum framework is this will be applicable from 24-25 academic sessions. Okay, so it will be applicable next year itself, next year academic session which is beginning. So all the textbooks are going to change of NCERT. All the textbooks are going to change. First change is the language. Second is the board exam itself. So board exams may right now they have asked us to shift towards 2 board exams. One mid-year, the other one will be final year. But ultimately, the transition should be semester based. Matlab, three quarter mein, after 3 months, they will be conducting 1 board exam, again 3 months, then second board exam, again 3 months, third board exam. After final 3 months, another board exam. And there will be no final board exam. All 4 will be the board exams only, equally important. And whichever there will be best performance, that will be adopted, that will be taken up. Okay? This is just to encourage education. CBSE is only meant to do that. It is ensuring that more and more number of people should reach till the level of graduation. Okay? So its education level is also relatively very easy as compared to ICSE. Okay? The next thing is number of mandatory subjects. So how many mandatory subjects CBSE, because state boards I do not know. CBSE students, how many of mandatory subjects you took in 10th? 5. All are mandatory. How many? How many? 5, right? It will be 7 now. 7 mandatory subjects till class 10th and 6 mandatory subjects till class 12th. For 11th and 12th, it will be 6 mandatory and 7 mandatory for 9 and 10. Okay? So the number of mandatory subjects have also increased. Plus, environmental education will now become mandatory in class 9th and 10th. Okay? Plus, additional enrichment period will be included in class 9th and 10th. So they can take up any subject and they will increase their knowledge in that particular subject. For that, we will be giving them a separate period also. Okay? Separate time period will be given in school timetable, which will be known as the additional enrichment period. They can opt for any subject and enhance their knowledge in that subject for 9th and 10th. Okay? For 9th and 10th. Plus, this will be applicable from 24-25. So under the curriculum framework, what NCERT has done is they have given this subject should be given these many hours of class. This subject what we do in institutes. How many hours of class do we require to finish off IR? All that is done by NCERT under this curriculum framework. Okay? This should be the class routine for a playgroup child. 3 hours of playing, 2 hours of playing, 1 hour of rest, 2 hours of coordination, 1 hour of social activity, 15 minutes of social activity. All this breakup is undertaken under the national curriculum framework from playgroup to final class 12th. Okay? So right now it is in line with NEP, National Education Policy. In National Education Policy, we have brought this change. Okay? And now preschool has become mandatory. Okay? So before class 1, all of you would have studied LKG and UKG, right? Before LKG, now one full class has introduced, and it is a part of formal education now. Preschooling is a part of formal education now. Okay? So this becomes preschool plus LKG plus UKG plus 1 plus 2, right? 5 classes. So this becomes 5. That is the model here. Education policy has this model of 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. 9, 10, 11, 12. Here. And then class 6, 7 and 8. And class 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 plus? No, 2 is coming here only. 2 is coming here only. This is 3 to 5. Okay? So this is the model adopted under the National Education Policy. So under the national education policy, foundational learning will be part of pre-nursery plus LKG plus UKG plus 1 and 2. All these years we will be undertaking only foundational learning. Preparatory will be undertaken from class 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then middle education will be considered as 6, 7 and 8. And then finally secondary will be part of 9, 10, 11, 12. Majority changes are brought under secondary education only. Okay. Scientific temperament has been introduced under the curriculum framework. So they have encouraged you. Have you scientific temperament? Have you heard in constitution anywhere? Where? Fundamental duties, correct. Fundamental duties asks us to shift towards scientific temperament. Okay. So under the okay, the person, do you know who has prepared the education policy? Anybody? Kasturi Rangan. Have you heard name of K. Kasturi Rangan? K. Kasturi Rangan is a very brilliant mind. Very brilliant mind. I can't even remember where he was not there. He has been under the recommendations of economics also, RBIs also. Okay, he has brought reforms to Western Ghats also. The recommendations for Western Ghats eco-sensitive zone also. He has been in recommendation of education policy also. That's what I'm saying. I can't remember where I've not seen Kasturi Rangan. He's that brilliant mind. Okay, a bureaucrat, an officer, IAS officer. He wrote an article in Hindu where he was talking about how to develop the scientific temperament. So in the draft education policy, what he proposed was pre-nursery, LKG and UKG should not be done within a four wall. Okay, it should be done outside. It should be done by showing the leaves what is transpiration. It should be done by putting a drop of water on table, and after 4-5 hours that water is not there, that this is showing vaporization or evaporation. So these were the ideas proposed under by Kasturi Rangan under the scientific temperament. So scientific temperament may he proposed this, but we were not able to completely implement this, obviously, because there are other clauses associated to it, problems associated to it. We were not able to implement it. But scientific temperament, it has said under the curriculum framework, NCERT will bring scientific temperament in all the levels, in middle level, secondary level, foundational level, in all the levels. Okay? Plus, textbooks will be updated. It has been declared that it is not binding. It has been declared that it is not binding, and Karnataka has already declared that we will not be following this. Kerala also? Okay. Tamil Nadu also? Sure. Okay. They will not be updating, is it? Okay. Karnataka, I read it. Kerala, she's adding ki Kerala has also rejected the education, the curriculum framework. Partial. Uh-huh. We will not do. Okay. That is expected out of. Okay, we'll not be discussing politics. Okay, coming back to curriculum framework. So this was the change earlier. We had from class 10th May, we had first board exam, 12th May, we had second board exam. Now this is what is the breakup right now. Sorry. Pre-nursery plus LKG, UKG, 1, 2 will be the foundational. 3, 4, 5 will be the preparatory. 6, 7, 8 will be middle, and secondary will be 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, so a quick review about NCERT also. It's an autonomous organization. Autonomous organization 1961, established in 1961. Its task is to just assist and advise the central as well as the state government. Okay? Its decisions are not binding. Any advice of NCERT is non-binding neither on central government nor on state government. Okay? It has several regional centers, but Delhi is its main center. Okay? So you can expect prelims question coming like this, whether it's a statutory organization, autonomous organization and all that, whether its recommendations are binding or non-binding and all that. Do they have regional centers or only one single center and all that? Okay? No, that is an executive organization. Autonomous organization, but it is independent of government. Government will not have an influence on it, but it has.
That means no government officers or anything, no bureaucrats.
That means the leader of that post, the chairman of NCERT, is not a government appointed person. That is how it becomes independent, autonomous organization. They will elect amongst the board will elect amongst themselves the chairman. Okay, but this influence is occurring very much. You remember NCRT was criticized for that Ambedkar making the constitution also. That was when we started preparing for civil services. Ambedkar had put up all the books, huge set of books from America, from Canada, from Australia, from South Africa, all set of books, and it is sitting on a snail, and that snail is walking. The constitution is being prepared in a very slow manner, was a criticism made by NCRT. But see, it depends. That's why I'm saying NCRT has influence. Why the reason why Kerala is not ready to adopt it is because there will be no chapter on Mughals. So government has a heavy influence on NCRT. It has. Every time when the government is there for a long period of time they will change NCRTs. Okay. In some of the state governments, we had a chapter on. Please take down the question, write the answers. I'll give you 10 minutes and then we'll discuss. And then we can leave. Audio issue is there because I'm not speaking anything. Please write the answers. PPT, I didn't get any PPT. Okay, PPT will be provided. All the previous PPTs also will be provided. How many of you have written, are writing the answer for the first time? Okay, 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 okay. 2 minutes. Acha, you were giving me some article to read, no? Article you were giving me. Acha.
Goes to protect the ecosystem of
Ha ha ha.
flora.
Acha, acha, acha. The reason why they are separating the two water bodies. Done writing the answer? Can we discuss? Please stop writing. Done? Okay. Okay, before we discuss the answer, I'll tell you, because some of you are writing the answer for the first time, I'll tell you some 2-3 pointers. See, whenever you are given a question, the first reading you will have to undertake to understand the question. So the first reading we will undertake, what are marine heat waves? What conservation efforts can be taken to adapt or mitigate with an aforesaid problem? Okay? Now, because you people are starting to write answer, there is one common problem faced by everybody. We tend to write anything that we know rather than what is being asked. Okay? You will start writing anything and everything that you know about marine heat waves, not what is being asked. Yet, let's say you will write about gondolas of Venice, you will write about Mediterranean Sea, you will write about Panama Canal and the engineering involved here, because you read all of this, right? That is not what was asked in exam on this paper. What they were asking is only marine heat wave, so you had to restrict yourself to only marine heat wave. So second reading of the question we need to undertake to just underline the keywords. Okay? So can somebody tell me what are the keywords here? Can you tell me what are the keywords? Any keyword that you can identify. Kelp. No, I am asking the keyword in this statement, this question statement. Tell me. Marine heat wave. Okay, good. So this will be the keyword. This will be the focus of our answer. Okay? Keyword. Can you tell me one more keyword in rest of the statement? Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Can you tell me any keyword? Huh? Mitigation or adaptation. Okay? Of the aforesaid problem. So the problem is already the keyword. Okay? So they are asking. So second reading of the question should be done to identify. So these will be the focus areas. We will be writing about marine heat waves. We will be writing about the conservation efforts. To adapt or mitigate. Adapt matlab we know that the climate is changing, so how do we adapt with the changing climate? Mitigate matlab we are trying to reduce the climate change itself. Okay, we will not allow the climate to change. That is mitigation effort. Adaptation effort matlab we know that the climate is changing, so we are adapting ourselves to live in that climate. Okay? So what did you write the introduction? Such long introduction. See, okay, second pointer, if the introduction, if the question is of, you will be having two set of questions, okay? 10 questions will be of 10 marker, 10 questions will be of 15 marker, okay? In GS papers, you will be having 20 questions, out of which 10 will be of 10 marker, 10 will be of 15 marker. So all those questions which are 15 marker has a leverage of writing up to 250 words. So the maximum number of words that you can write for a 15 marker is 250, and the maximum number of words you can write for a 10 marker is 150. Okay? So for questions like this, the introduction should not cross more than 2 to 3 lines. For questions like this, the introduction should not cross 3 to 4 lines. That's it. This small and brief should be your introduction. You should be directly hitting the question itself. So you don't have to set a precedent of how did we come to think of marine wave, where was this news. You don't have to think of the precedent. Mahal nahi banana hai. You have to directly hit the question. What are marine heat waves? This is marine heat wave. Okay? Or what are marine heat waves? If the question is belonging to either GS paper 2 or GS paper 3, which is dynamic, then you will have to begin your question. It is good that you begin your question with why is that topic in news, because that brings the examiner to the attention that the student knows about why we are asking this question. Okay? So here you could have written about the Panama Canal drying up, or Venice, or Mediterranean Sea, or Indian Ocean, forming of Bay of Bengal. You could have written about any one of them. Okay? But not very long introductions. So 2 to 3 lines mein, how many of you wrote the introduction? Please tell me.
Unusual increase in water temperature by 3 to 5 degrees for 5
days, right? So you, in your introduction, you had to be little more specific by mentioning it is increase of 3 to 4 degrees for a consecutive period of 5 days. Okay. What is the body that you wrote? Any conservation efforts.
This was my body. Causes of marine waves, the effect of marine waves, and conservation. I don't think you'll be able to understand.
No, I can understand, but did we ask about the cause and effect?
But then, how do you conserve without knowing what is causing it?
I know that you know the cause and effect. I want to know the conservation effort. See, that is what I was saying. Because we are writing the answer initially, so we tended to write what we know. Cause and effect, you know, that is why you wrote in the answer. That was not asked in the question. Getting? Is not required. Cause and effect of marine heat wave is not required. You have written it. If you have written it only because you know it, rather than what is being asked. Just a minute, I'll read this. This is your answer. Marine heat wave. Remember recently? 9. I am expecting maturity in your answer. No, this is not accepted. Recently, Panama Canal was in news because this is school student writing. Okay? Main cause of marine heat wave are. No, you have also written cause and effect only, na? No. See, even if you have a very strong urge to write the cause and effect, okay, because you have read about it, so you will have a very strong urge. I know this answer, I will write. What you are writing is actually not this answer, whatever you know. Okay? Even if you have this very strong urge to write the cause and effect, write it in one line itself. In that case, it will not become the part of your body. It will be just part of an introduction itself. The causes of effect can be increase in global temperatures. It can be increased carbon dioxide or anything, oil spill or whatever you want to write. You write it in one line itself. It will not consume words. It will not consume space. because I'm telling you, time and space is something very efficient in mains exam. I think I've discussed this with this batch. In mains exam, there was one student who was having physics optional, and in that exam, physics optional paper was very tough, very tough. So that fellow was having ample amount of time. Okay, I was drinking thumbs up and taking the exam, and that cap fell down somewhere. Okay, he simply got up, walked casually, picked up the cap, and he asked me to continue writing. He will close that cap. I'm saying you do not have time even for spilled water. Even if you have spilled water, people have not gone to toilet for 3 hours. I'm saying, okay, you do not have time. You cannot spend time doing this. Okay. First thing is time you cannot lose upon, and second thing is space you cannot lose upon, because if you consume space in writing the cause and effect, you have the next question written in the next page. What will you do with rest of the small space left with you, right? So please don't waste page in doing this, or don't waste time or energy. This is expected. Correct. See, what a concrete introduction. Marine heat waves may, she has written, recently Panama Canal is facing drought due to marine heat waves. It can be defined as the rise in sea surface temperature by 4 to 5 degrees consecutively for 5 days. That's it. That's the introduction. Okay, very concrete, combining the definition plus the example, the current event. Okay, that is the introduction. Fine. Okay, then directly switch to conservation efforts, because in question they were not asking about the cause and effect. Okay, so conservation efforts may reduction in global warming. So if you know the cause, you can tackle with the conservation effort. So what all conservation effort have you guys written? Anybody else? Regulate the usage of fossil fuels. So global warming, tackling global warming. UCC? IUU. Oh, okay. Correct. But I'll tell you a problem here. Marine heat wave is being witnessed at the bottom of the ocean also, where we are. It is not even under the light zone, littoral zone. It is not even in the littoral zone. So absence of light may we expect the temperature to be extremely low, but the temperature there is high because of the iron pellets. So that can be a problem. That's what key. If it is beholding carbon, it is increasing the temperature there. Ultimately, right now we are witnessing increased temperature of ocean surface. Yeah, abyssal plain also. Abyssal plain. Geography, oceanography, mein the last part. Okay, their temperature is increasing because right now we are introducing iron pellets, right? So marine heat wave we are witnessing there also, which is not even a littoral zone. No presence of light, still the temperature is high. So the reason can be iron pellets, but you are trying to say that we are basically carbon sink, making them a carbon sink. See, carbon sink is a problem which we discussed. Marine heat wave is natural methods. Protecting biodiversity, helping reducing H2O traffic in international waters. Water traffic, you could have ballast water. Preventing oil spills, protecting marine species. So whatever is a problem, that it's opposite of that becomes the conservation effort. Can be taken to adapt or mitigate with that. So if you have already written, see, I see she has written conservation effort. Anybody else who has written conservation efforts? No, this question ke liye conservation effort. Nobody wrote conservation effort. Okay, but what was it? Ban trolling of fishes. Okay.
And the other one is the regulation of
fossil fuel. Okay. You fishing.
How will it mitigate or
See, because it is over exploitation of resources, you are affecting the ecosystem there. So that's what the biodiversity there is getting affected, right? Because of extensive. No, no, no. Ek minute. See, we had to write conservation efforts in two heads. That's what I was asking. This change you can do in your answer. Conservation effort could have been classified under adaptation efforts and mitigation efforts. Okay? Adaptation efforts may we know that the climate is changing. So now what we need to do? Okay? So all these solutions can be this. For example, afforestation or reducing fossil fuel. These all can be the mitigation efforts. Okay? Or ये क्या बोलते हैं over exploitation of resources, IUU fishing, reduce the IUU fishing or ban trolling of fishes. This can be a mitigation effort because we are trying to stop the changing climate itself. We are trying to stop the marine heat wave itself. ठीक है?
What will be the mitigation efforts?
These are all mitigation efforts only. You are asking about adaptation. Adaptation effort में मतलब we are knowing that the problem is persisting. तो हाँ
bilateral trading between two countries, so they are taking one commodity here and they can take another commodity.
That is usually done.
नहीं, but it should still be with a mitigation effort only, right? It will still be the mitigation. Adaptation effort may we can introduce such species which are ready to thrive in hot water and it is also non-invasive. Okay, that can be some of the solution.
That is reaching for the star.
No, possible. I'll tell you, it is possible, but and we need to undertake research in that. Not on ground implementation has not occurred, but see, adapting towards natural solution can be the long term solution. So we will have to look for.
Or mitigation. Those can be only mitigation.
You can, but diversity, your answer will get diversity if you are writing adaptation measures. Okay, done. Any confusion? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next class.